Well, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. For our practice today, we're going to be doing some gentle movement. Going to add a little challenge in there about midway that you can go ahead and take the challenge or you can back off of it. I'll give you a couple modifications for it. Just going to do a good full body all over stretch, focusing on those usual hip areas, shoulder areas, full body, but just getting into those requests I get quite often. For the practice, it would be really nice if you had a block. If you don't have a block at home, you can use a book or something, even a pillow cushion or something like that. We're going to be utilizing that mid practice and as well as at the end of practice. So please have a block or a book handy for that. I have a blanket nearby, not totally necessary, a blanket or a towel, but it's always nice to have, unless in case you'd like a little extra cushioning for underneath the knees or underneath the bottom when you're sitting. So go ahead and come into a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. I'm actually kneeling currently. You do not have to do that. You can be in easy pose with the bottom down, or you can have the legs out long, whatever feels good. We'll start our practice by bringing the palms together at heart center. Close the eyes down and just start to rub the palms together, creating heat and friction, and also uniting the right with left side. So continue to really move those hands nice and fast. And then come to stillness, bringing the hands at heart center, pressing into palms, elbows are nice and wide. Close the eyes down and just take a moment to welcome yourself to your mat and to your practice. Utilizing this time to check in with the body. And checking in and seeing what the body is needing for this time on your mat. And while we're here for a few more moments, check in with the breath and see where the breath is traveling and what the quality of the breath is. Now checking into our awareness and where our mind is traveling at the moment. Not utilizing this meditative time or this practice to just shut out all thoughts, but we're just going to give that thinking mind a break for the next hour. Putting our to-do list aside and just really arriving and having this be your here and now. Together, let's take a nice deep inhale in and an exhale, sigh it out and let it go. Inhale, flutter the eyes open. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, interlace the fingertips, create a fist here. And we're just going to press those hands forward, get this nice stretch rounding into the upper back. Take a moment to breathe here. And then raise the hands above the head, still interlacing the fingertips, getting this nice big stretch and reach above. And like I said, you don't have to be in this kneeling position. You can be right here in a cross-legged position or legs long. Create that fist once again, or still creating that fist, but this time we're going to press the fist forward and just tuck in, bringing the head into this little space we're creating, and keep pressing those hands away from the body. Rounding into upper back. On that next inhale, flip the palms, still keeping them interlaced. Bring them above the head and press up towards the sky. Pressing those palms, get a nice stretch in the wrists as well as the upper back. Full body, really. Let's do that one more time. Creating that fist, press that fist forward, tuck the chin in. Really sink the belly back towards the spine as we round. Keep reaching. And then we'll just take those interlaced fingertips, Bring them up towards the sky. Hold here for a moment. Then releasing the clasp of the fingertips, release the hands down to the side. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears and down. Inhale, shrug them up nice and tall towards the ears and release down. One more time. Roll shoulders up and release down. Raising fingertips up skyward again. Right hand comes down towards the earth or on the earth. Left hand stretches and reaches overhead. Take a breath into side body. Then press into that supporting hand, raise back up tall, and come over to the other side. Let's do that one more time on each side, raising palms upward, and then float over towards that right side. Press into the palm, raise up, and come on over to the left side. Press into the hands, raise them both up for a moment, then release them down. Taking the legs to, we're going to take them to a V to start with. So just setting ourselves up, not a super wide V. Then place the soles of the feet down onto the earth. So we have this V shape with the knees bent. And we're just going to start to find a little rocking movement, using the legs for leverage, holding onto the shins or the knees as we start to just shift from knee to knee and rock back on those sit bones. Starting to wake up the lower half of the body. And what we're really doing here too is just opening and releasing the pelvis area. And let's switch directions, coming around to that other side. Just a few more times. And then coming back up to center, release the legs long now into that V shape. So we're still in this V shape, but we're keeping the legs long. We're going to find that same little twisting movement, first by starting the hands over the right side, hover above, and then lean forward, shift over towards center, towards the left, and then back, and we'll come roll forward again. So finding your groove here, moving in a way that feels good. You'll notice the further back you come, the more you start to feel it in the abdominals, in that core area. And then also just starting to feel a good stretch alongside the back of the legs. A few more rotations in this direction. Inhaling as we come forward and exhaling as we round back. And then when we're ready, we'll switch directions, coming over towards the opposite side. It's okay if you started on the different side. We're gonna get it both here. Rocking back and forward. Starting to come down a little bit lower as we get that mobility in the spine and the opening in the hips. And one more time, we're gonna go to both directions, but start again on that right side or left, whichever one you started. And you can start to add the arms as we come back. Just nice fluid movements. Keep the breath moving with the body. And we'll switch directions one more time. And the arms are completely optional. It's completely optional to continue to move. Maybe you find a space that you want to stay for a few breaths. And slowly let's come back up towards center. And then we're just going to turn the torso over towards that right leg. Melt down for just a moment here. Placing hands onto the earth. Keeping the feet nice and bright and flexed. Walk the hands to center, melt down. Doesn't need to be super deep. We're very early in our practice, but just enough so that you get that sensation of the stretch. Take a few breaths into back body. Then raise up on the fingertips, walk the hands to frame that left foot, and bring the nose down towards the knee here. Press into the palms and raise back up to center. And we're just gonna zip the legs together and bring them, I'm just gonna shift because I don't have that much space. We're gonna bring those legs together in the front. So just play in the feet for a few moments, flexing toes, maybe rolling out ankles, maybe spreading one toe at a time. Just feel into the feet and into our roots. And then coming into stillness, really press those toes so that they're facing towards the body. Press into those heels so we're really engaged in the legs. So much that those heels may even come up off of the earth. And then we're just gonna build this all the way up, engaging in the legs so much that the knees might float up off of the earth. Bringing palms behind so that fingertips are facing towards the body. And put a little bend into the elbows here. And we're just going to shine that chest up skyward. So nice broadening, little back bend, broadening across the collarbones. Check in with that neck and make sure you're not tossing it back, that you're leaving it really in line with the spine and tucking the chin in a little bit. Nice, long, deep breaths. These little back bends are really heating and energizing. See if you can keep pressing into the palms, raising that chest and that heart skyward. Breaking up any congestion around the heart. Here for just a few more moments. Take one more deep inhale in. And on the exhale, come back up to center. Raise the hands above the head, roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. Holding this great big beach ball, keeping everything engaged in that lower body. We're just going to turn and twist over to the right side. Hover hands above the earth. And then raise the fingertips up, gaze follows hands, and then exhale, bring those hands over to that opposite side. Inhale, gaze follows hands up. Exhale, over to the other side. Continue moving with your breath. Cadence is entirely up to you. Keeping everything nice and engaged, firing up those legs, and getting into that side waist as we twist. Just a few more of these rotations. Go ahead and finish up on both sides. Turning to one side, hold and hover. Hands raise above the head, and then hold and hover to the other side. Come back to center, raise those hands above the head, keep those shoulders rolled down, and then bring them to shoulder height. Plug those shoulders into socket, and we'll start to find that rocking movement back and forth. So coming into this life nerve stretch, engaging in the abdominals, waking up core. You'll notice the further back we come, the more the core fires up. And the more, as we come forward, we'll feel that alongside the back of the legs and into that lower back. Just a few more times, rotating forward and back. The next time that we come back, let's hold and hover here. Keep everything engaged. Invite the shake in the body. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Hold, not holding the breath. You've got this. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. We're here for 1. Use those abdominals to pull yourself all the way up and through and melt down, holding on to feet if it's accessible, or letting the hands rest alongside the shins. Resting here for just a few moments in this hold, showing ourselves reverence and gratitude as we bow down. Take a few moments. Really feel that breath traveling from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. Taking your time to slowly wind all the way back up to seated. One more thing here, let's just bring the soles of the feet together, knees out nice and wide into our butterfly pose, into our Buddha Konasana. Keeping those knees nice and wide. Just peel the toes. So we're looking down, we're just bringing the soles of the feet out and the knife edge of the feet to meet each other. Feel that stretch and opening alongside the outside of the hip. Take just another breath here. And then bring those toes back together, soles of the feet back together. Hands clasp a hold of the tops of the feet. Find that length. So we're going to really press the chest forward. And then it's not a matter of going super deep. We're just starting to hinge at the hips and melt down to that comfortable edge of the stretch again. So try not to round the back in this. We're finding this active stretch. Keeping the crown of the head pressing forward and that tailbone pressing down. Long, deep breaths. Really good to get into that back body, especially if you're having any pain in the lower back. This is such a great stretch for that lower back and also to get into those hips. Let's go ahead and create this passive stretch now by dipping the chin in towards the chest, letting the head be heavy here. Crown of the head is down towards the toes. Allow this deep rounding. Feel the breath traveling all the way up from the base of the spine, to the middle of the back, to the crown of the head. And then back down again. Untuck the chin and slowly wind all the way back up to seated. Take hands to the outside of the thighs and snuggle them back in. We're going to come around to our tabletop position. You can use that blanket or towel to pad up the knees if that feels good. Palms are right underneath the shoulders and knees are right underneath the hips. Right away, let's just start to play in our cat-cow. Taking your time to really press into the palms as we round into the upper back. Chin in. And then releasing that belly down, getting that good stretch in the obliques as well as that back bend. Take your time to play here. Always good options to maybe add a little bit of a head sway, head nod, or maybe even a little bit of a hip sway, drawing circles with the hips. Just have a few moments and really just articulating through the spine, playing here. You know what feels good, so listen to the body and answer the call. And when we're ready, we'll come back again into that tabletop position, neutral spine. Walk the knees as wide as the yoga mat. And then we're just going to start to bring the hips over to the right side. Draw the hips down towards the heels and then come back up around to that left side. A few more times. Really get deep into the hips here as we round all the way down, back up. And the next time that we come up, let's switch directions, coming around to the other side. And then getting this nice stretch as well as the hips to really feel it in the groin and that lower back. And I also like to take my belly across the top of the thighs just to give a little massage into the internal organs in the belly area. And then come on back up to that neutral tabletop position. Walk the knees back underneath the hips. Taking that left foot back, tuck the toe underneath, and then we'll find a little pivot back and forth a few times, really getting that good stretch into the Achilles, into the calf, and into the fascia of the foot. Coming into stillness here, raise that foot so that it's at hip level. Check in with those hips and make sure that those hips are facing down. That toe is dialed down. So instead of hiking out to the side, keep everything down towards the earth. The opposite hand, so that right hand is going to come forward. Thumb is facing up. Engage in core here. Feel the strength. And then on that next inhale, let's draw everything in towards center. Knee, elbow, nose. Then extend long. Again, inhale, come in towards center. Hold and hover here. And on that exhale, extend long. One more time. Everything comes in. Hold and squeeze. Pull that knee up towards the ribs a little bit more. And then extend long. Place the hand down onto the mat, and we're going to step that foot, so stepping that left foot all the way up to the front of the mat. Taking the hands to the top of the thigh, maybe rock and roll back and forth a few times to take any of that tension out that might be still residing in the hip area. And if you feel off balance, just walk that foot a little bit wider so we create a wider base. Checking in with that balance a little bit more. Raise the palms up, roll the shoulders down, and just find this nice deep breath. Hinging at the hips, we're just going to come forward. So hinge at the waistline, hands come forward. Then bend the elbows and roll open. Again, hinging, bringing hands forward. Roll back, cactus open. One more time, round and roll back. Hands reach above the head once more. Create that arrow mudra, so interlace the three fingers. Thumb and index finger are pointing up above the head. Roll the shoulders back. Find this length and this height, and then you can start to tip back a little bit more, opening into a back bend. Do not have to go super deep here. Keep that length in the spine, no crunchiness in that lower back. Use core strength to come back up tall. Release that mudra. Bringing left hand forward, right hand back, twist here. Inhale, fingertips raise up. Exhale, twist to the other side. So now that left hand or right hand is forward, left hand is back. Staying in the twist, bring the hands to the heart, taking that front elbow down to the top of the thigh. We're going to twist a little bit more. Think about bringing that sternum towards the thumb and that gaze over that top shoulder. Now check in with the leg alignment here. A lot of times that knee starts to try to track into center. See if you can press it and keep it even with the middle toes. Keep that breath fluid. We're here for just another moment. Hang in there, keep breathing. Hands are at heart, we'll unwind. Bring the palms back up tall once more. Then hinge forward, release the hands, frame the foot. Tuck back toe underneath, raise the knee up off the earth. Get that buoyancy to step forward, and we meet at the mat in a forward fold. Don't worry, I know we have another side, but let's just get off those knees for a moment. Take a few moments in this forward fold, pedaling out the feet. Nodding out the head. Taking hands to the shins. Use those shins so that you can press into them and find a halfway lift. Gaze is down, nice flat back. Take another inhale here. And on the exhale, melt back down into that fold. Take the hands to the hip line. So right where the hips meet the glutes. Bringing the hands behind the lower back. Find that halfway lift. So a little bit different here. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, and wind all the way back up to standing, or first time to standing now in this practice. Inhale, hands sweep up nice and tall. Exhale, bring the hands into heart center. Checking in here, feeling that energy source all the way up, bringing that source of energy from that gravity well from below and bringing it all the way up. Hands raise above the heart or above the head and circle all the way back around and into heart. Close the eyes down. Really feel the energy in the entirety of the body. Try something new here with the eyes shut down. We have done this before. We're going to do our fallen star, but let's try to do it with the eyes shut down. So right foot is going to step out to the side and hover above the earth. Or we just keep that toe down on the earth as a little kickstand. Left hand is going to come out to the side. And if that foot wants to keep coming down to touch in or check in, go ahead and do it. Keep breathing. Hang in there with me. And then lower the foot, lower the arm back into heart. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive all the way back down, forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Melt down into that fold. Take the hands to the lower back, right where that sacrum area is, and find that halfway lift again. And then bend into the knees and slowly rise all the way back up to standing. Let's do that falling star on the other side. Close the eyes down, or maybe just try to find that falling star and then close the eyes down. So taking that left foot out to the side and up off the earth. Opposite hand raises out, so we're finding that nice line. You can flex the foot, it does help, or maybe even find a little bit of rolling of the ankle if you're feeling really balanced today. Release the foot and release the hand. Sweep the hands back overhead and then fold all the way back down into our forward fold. Placing hands onto the earth, step back. This is our first down dog. Take a few moments to really sink the chest down towards the top of the thighs. See if you can rotate those biceps so that they are forward and the triceps are kissing towards the heart. Raising that tailbone up towards the sky, and the head is heavy and loose here. Take one more deep inhale in, and exhale out. Bend the knees and release back down into our tabletop position. When we arrive in this tabletop position, let's go through a few more sets of cat-cow. Tucking that tailbone in and then widening into that lower back into the sacrum area. Just a few more here. Meeting in neutral in that tabletop again. Take that right foot behind, tuck the toe underneath, and we find that little seesaw movement. Stretching into this foot and calf and Achilles. Coming into some stillness, now bring that foot up to hip level. So notice if you start to crank out to the side, we want to keep that hip, both hips level down towards the earth. So really flex through that foot, toe is dialed down. Opposite hand, so this time bringing that left hand to stretch and reach. Thumb is facing up as if we're hitching a ride. Stretch and reach in those opposite directions, and then fold everything into the center, round into the upper back. And widen out again, reach. Come back into center again, hold and hover, then extend long. One more time, bring everything into center. See if you can bring that knee up towards the rib cage a little bit more. And extend long. Placing that palm back down onto the earth, step that foot to the front of the mat, and we're setting up for our low lunge here. Hands come to the top of the thighs, find that balance point, gazes forward. Make sure that we're not collapsing too far forward. We want to keep that knee stacked right above the ankle. Raise the hands above the head, roll the shoulders down. Shift the chest forward, palms are facing towards each other, and then find that cactus shape as we round back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, open back. Again, inhale, exhale back. Once more, inhale forward, exhale back, cactus open here. Bring the hands above the head, finding that arrow mudra once more. Tip, well first grow tall, then tip back. So keep pressing out of that tailbone so there's no collapsing here as we raise the hands and reach back. Keep pressing into that front foot. Center the body, release that mudra, and this time our right hand's going to come forward, left hand's going to come back, twist open. Float the hands back up and twist to the other side. We can find that twist here by bringing the elbow to the top of that right thigh. Palms are together. Gaze is up and over the upper shoulder. Check in with that knee. See if it's starting to travel to center. So we're really working here to press the knee to center right above the ankle and right over those middle toes. Breathe into this twist. Keep the hands at heart and slowly unwind back. Hands raise above the head. Hinge at the waistline, frame the front foot, tuck back toe under, raise knee up off of the earth, and step that foot to the front of the mat where we meet in forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Melt down and fold. Hands come behind, right to that lower back. Find that halfway lift again. Really pull that belly button up towards the spine. And then bend the knees and come all the way back up to standing. Feel that beautiful flush of energy through the entirety of the body. Walking the feet wide as your yoga mat. So you're going to keep kind of on the mat. I'm turned a different way, but you're going to keep your toes on the mat. No, we're actually, I should say heels because we're going to turn this out, sorry. Turn the toes out, keeping the heels on your mat and the toes off the mat. We're going to raise the hands up high for just a moment. So we're going to get into a little rhythm here. So hands come above the head. We're going to make a clap and then bend into the knees and smack the bottom. So inhale up, exhale down. Letting go of any bad energy, any anger, really pound it out. Just a few more moments. Raising that energy. Two more times. Turn the toes, walk them back underneath the hips. We're going to part those hands, and then left hand comes down as if we're cradling right along the heart center, and that right hand is going to hover above. So we're holding this ball, close the eyes down, and just feel that energetic pulse here. You are responsible for your own frequency, and you can change that frequency. You are powerful. You are energetic. Take one more moment to breathe here. Slowly bring the palms together and press them at heart. Inhale, fingertips raise up. Exhale, melt all the way down, swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift again, flat back, melt down. Place the hands onto the earth, step back, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, hold for just a moment, then lower all the way down to the earth. Coming down onto our belly, we're gonna take the hands and bring them, so we're creating a little pillow with our hands stacked here. So this is our Japanese back strengthener here. We've done this before, but just a quick reminder. Legs are engaged. Press down onto that pelvic floor, or onto that pubic bone, I should say. Forehead is down on top of the hands. Everything is really bright and engaged, using those abdominals, using that core to raise up. And then we're just going to slowly turn over towards that right side, back to center, over to the left. Do that one more time on each side. Keep pressing into the pubic bones, the tops of the feet, coming over to one side, center, then over to the other side. Back to center, release the clasp, or release the forehead down, release the palms down. Wiggle the hips a little bit so that we are taking any tension out. Then press the palms underneath the shoulders and come back up into that tabletop position. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Right heel raise, or actually, totally went out of my mind there for a minute. Tuck the toes underneath, hip points raise up, downward facing dog. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Right heel raises skyward, three-legged dog. Bend the knee over into the chest, hold and hover for a moment. Then step the foot to the front of the mat. Left hand stays down onto the earth. Peel that right hand open into a twist. Release the palm down. We're framing that foot, but we're going to transition into our warrior two. So back foot pivots. So we're lining that heel or the arch of that back foot, gathering all of that core strength, come all the way up and come into our warrior two. Might need to shift and adjust the feet so we find that good alignment here. Gazing over the front fingertips. Shoulders are stacked over the hips. That knee, we're pressing it back towards that pinky toe side. So starting to straighten that front leg, just bring the hands in and give ourselves a little hug. Open back into that T, into that warrior two. Again, giving ourselves a little hug, straighten that front leg, stack the elbows, and open out again, bend into that knee. One more time. Straighten that leg, give ourselves a little hug and squeeze here. Tuck chin into center. And then open back in to that warrior two. Hands come to the hips. We're going to pivot on that back foot and step it to the front of the yoga mat. So now that we're at the front of the yoga mat, I'm just going to do a little bit more work into that lower half of the body. Stepping that right foot behind, we're going to come into a curtsy lunge. So hands come out to the side as we lunge the foot back. Very slowly bring the hands into heart center and bring that knee up and through. It might stay low, or you might bring it up a little bit higher towards the heart. Let's do that twice more. So stepping back, foot lands, coming into our curtsy lunge. With control, hands come up to heart or above the head as that knee raises up. And then step back again into that curtsy lunge. Hold here. I'm going to offer a couple options for strength. We can stay right here, or we can start to draw that knee into the lower calf area and hover into our Shiva squat. Foot can be down on the earth, or it can be above. Squeeze everything into midline, hold for a moment, and then take your time to slowly come back up and through. Release the hands and march it out. Whew, that one's a little tough, but we're gonna really get it nailed down in a minute here. Stepping at the front of the mat, taking that block or book that I mentioned at the first of the practice, bringing it down. Let's start it with right in front of that left foot, or right foot, sorry, left foot, gosh, left foot. Block is in front of the left foot. Raise the fingertips up skyward. And then swan dive all the way down, placing the hand onto that block, bending into that left knee. Start to open up the arm into a twist, stacking shoulders here. Should feel a good stretch into that IT band on that right side. Keep breathing. Maybe bending into that knee a little bit more and twisting open a little bit more. Slowly float the hand back down into this forward fold. Plant hands onto the earth and step back, downward facing dog. Shift forward to high plank. Lower all the way down to the belly. Engage everything again. Take those hands, rest the forehead on the top of the back of the hands. Raise the chest barely, just hovering right off the earth. And we're going to twist a little bit, just shifting over towards that left side. Center, over to the right side. Center, left side. Center, right side. Back to center. Release the palms down, release the head down. Shake and shimmy those hips out a few times. Then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press to up dog or cobra. And then flip the toes, meet me in down dog. Inhaling in, exhaling out. We're just switching directions here. Inhale in again, exhale out. This time that left heel raises skyward, three-legged dog. Knee comes in towards chest, hold and hover. Then step or carry the foot to the front of the mat. Right hand stays down on the earth as we twist open, bringing that left hand up and over. Release the palm to frame the foot. Pivot on that back foot. So we're going to come up into that warrior two. It's a little tricky transition here. Engage in the abdominals as we sweep back up into our warrior two. Make the adjustments with the legs that you need. Gazes over the front fingertips. Straighten that front leg and give ourselves a little hug. Bend the knee and come back again into warrior two. Hugging again, straighten that front leg. And press again into warrior two. One more time, straighten the leg, give a little hug here. And come back into warrior two. Hands hands come into the hips, pivot on that back toe, step it to the front of the mat, and then we're gonna do our little curtsy lunge series. So starting, really making sure that that right foot is planted onto the earth, left knee raises up. Step the left foot behind, and we lunge down. Very slowly take your time to bring the foot back up and through, and step behind. Shift all the way back up and through, and step behind. Once more, back up and through, flex the foot, then step behind. Challenging ourselves. You can just stay here in this lunge, or you can bring the knee to the outside or to that inside of that calf area and squat down a little bit more. So think about your chair here. Keep pressing into palms, keep breathing. Very slowly straighten up, bring that knee all the way up and through. Place it back down and march it out a few times, maybe adding a little bit of an arm sway. And then we're gonna get into that IT band on the opposite side. Coming into stillness here, taking the block now in front of that right foot, bending into, well actually let's come up high first. Come up high, skipping steps here. Melt down into our forward fold. Right hand stays onto that block or book, bend into that right knee, and start to open up with that left hand. See if you can bend into the knee a little bit more and open up just a little bit more. Keep that breath fluid. And slowly rotate the chest, bring the hand down towards the earth, melt down into that fold. Halfway lift, flat back, melt down and fold. Bend into the knees and sweep all the way up, tall mountain, gentle palms into heart center. Drawing in a great big inhale in and an exhale out. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Taking the arms up above the head, cactus the heart, open here. Bring those elbows towards each other, really shine the heart. Inhaling up, exhale, dive back down, fold. Halfway lift, and back down, fold. Bend the knees and sweep all the way back up, tall mountain, gentle palms into heart center. So we're going to go into a little bit more of a challenge here with this IT band stretch. First, taking that block now to that left foot, bending into the left knee, palm is on that left block or on the book. Right hand raises up skyward. We're going to bring that hand down towards that left hip. So finding a bind here. So hand is floating down, finding bind, coming to that hip on the left side. Keep that shoulder pressing up towards the sky. Keep bending into that left knee. Gaze can be up and over that right shoulder, or at neutral, or down towards the earth. Take another moment here to really feel this twist. Raising palm back skyward again. Slowly rotate the chest, release the palm down. Halfway lift, flat back. Melt down and fold. Bend the knees, sweep all the way back up, tall mountain, and then gentle palms into heart center. Noticing the difference here. Seeing if we're feeling a little bit more open on one side compared to the other. Taking an inhale in and an exhale out. All right, let's go to that other side. So now taking the block to that right foot. Raise the hands up and then melt down into that fold. Right hand is onto the block, right knee bends. Left hand raises skyward. Taking that hand, so I think I might have just said right, but it's our left hand that's up. Left hand that's up is going to wrap around and come to the hip line or over to that glute side of that right side. So left hand is reaching back, shoulder is rolling back. Not locking out either one of those knees. We should really be bending deep into that right knee. Keep breathing. Unwind from the bind, bring the arm back up. Turn and pivot the chest down. Fold and hold here. We're going to walk those feet a little bit wider. And just hold and dangle here for a few moments. Maybe nodding out head. Maybe pulsing back and forth, bending into one knee and then the other. Take your time to slowly, slowly ragdoll all the way back up to standing. Bring the legs back together underneath the hips and guide the hands back into heart. We're just pausing for a moment. There's really a pose in the pause. So I just want to take a moment just so that we can feel. So even though we're holding still in the physical body, feel how the energetic body, that subtle body, where the energies are traveling to and how we're feeling. Really feeling into the polarity, the center of the body. Let's come on to the earth. Let's press those hands all the way back up. Last time, swan dive, fold forward. Place hands onto earth, step back, down dog. Guide the knees down to the earth. Then we're just going to swim the legs all the way around, bringing them out front. We're going to come down and make sure that you have that blocker book handy. So one more thing, checking in with the core. Go ahead and bend the knees, bring the hands alongside the legs, and we're just going to slowly, maybe hold for a second. Slow hold, 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 and lower all the way down to the earth. Bringing the knees into the chest. Give them a good hug and squeeze here. Start to draw circles on the ceiling in one direction with the knees, and then the other direction. Feel this good massage in the kidney meridian and that sacrum area. Squeeze the knees into the chest once more, and then release the soles of the feet down onto the earth. So taking that prop that you have at home, we're going to come into a supported bridge. So pressing into the soles of the feet, raise those hip points up off of the earth, and then just bring that block or book right underneath the sacrum. So it's right above the glutes and right below the spine. We don't want any pinching or pulling here at all. So make sure that it's in a comfortable position. And you can find a couple things. You can be on the lower level of that block if that's what you have, or cushion, or a book, or you can raise it up a little bit higher. Ideally, we're getting this reverse back bend where we're just reversing the blood flow. So we're coming back here, really letting the blood flow come to the heart and into the brain in the opposite direction. Close the eyes. And bring your awareness to the area of the body that you're really feeling this in. And layering the breath on top of that awareness. Now, if your block is higher, go ahead and bring it down to that lower level. So pick up the knees and bring it down to that lowest level of your block if that's what you're using. And then we're just going to get into that front hip flexor a little bit more. So keeping that left knee bent, take that right foot all the way down to the base of the mat. If you feel any pinching or any tension here, you can just remove that block altogether. Taking the same hand, so we're going to take that right hand above the head. Feel this good stretch all the way from the lower part of the body to the upper part of the body. You can stay here, or we can test this out a little bit more where we start to bring the hand and the foot into a moon shape, taking it over towards that left side of the mat. Getting into side body a little bit more. Feeling this good opening. If it doesn't feel good, remove the block or don't go there. You can just keep into that supported bridge. If you are in that crescent moon shape, go ahead and take the foot and the hand back above the head. Release the palm down and bend the knee, and we'll do that on the other side. So keeping the foot down on that right side, take the left foot down towards the base of the mat. This might be just enough, or we can take that hand above the head, same hand, so that left hand above the head, and stretch and reach in the opposing directions. Stay here, or start to take the hand and the foot over to that opposite side of the mat, creating this crescent moon shape or banana shape. And feel into the side. If you have that side body stretch, go ahead and bring it back to center. Release the hand, bend the knee. Really come up onto those toes for a moment so we can press up and release whatever prop you have underneath. Might feel like you have more space, like if you feel that lower back coming down onto the earth a little bit more. Let's guide the knees in towards the chest. Just once again, give it a hug and squeeze here. If it feels okay with the neck, bringing forehead towards the knees, roll into a little ball for just a few moments. And then when we're ready, go ahead and release everything into the Shavasana of your choice. Whether you're extending legs out long or keeping them bent with the knees teepeed in towards each other. Just take some time to let the magic of your practice wash over you. Really feel the support of the earth, and the fullness of your breath. Deepening the breath even more. If you have the legs out long, go ahead and bend them, bringing the soles of the feet. We're just going to end the practice with a twist on each side, just a quick twist. So soles of the feet are onto the earth. Walk the hips over towards that left side of the mat and let the knees waterfall to the right side. Feel into a twist for just a moment here. Go ahead and press back up to center, this time shifting the hips to the opposite side of the mat, knees waterfall now over towards that left side. Taking that right hand around so that we're coming into our fetal position for just a moment here. Pause. Press into that palm and raise yourself back up to seated. Join me in that comfortable seat of your choice. Closing eyes down once again. Joining hands at heart. I want to thank you so much for joining me and sharing your time and your energy in practice. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Namaste.